point of detachment is engagement. So what are you detaching from? You're detaching from trying to control everything too much, in this world that's filled with uncertainty. So we try to control as much as we can. That's the job of the ego. And we can do a lot, but we can't do everything. So then the detachment comes in, not clinging to the pleasant, not pushing away the unpleasant. That's the training of the mind that you start to do in meditation. So people often misunderstand the Buddha's teachings, like, oh, it's just life is suffering, it's too depressing, the point is to, stop trying to be happy and accept the suffering. That's a misunderstanding, in my view, of what the Buddha taught. So the Buddha laid out his psychological teachings the first time he decided to speak, or the second time, really, but very early in his teaching career. He laid out his psychological, spiritual teachings in the form of the Four Noble Truths. And he did it in the way that medical practitioners of his time talked about illness and suffering. So he first gave the diagnosis of the condition, then he gave the cause, then he gave the treatment. And in between, he said there's a solution, So when he gave the cause, when he named the condition, he just used a single word, and the word he used was dukkha, which I think is what you were referencing before. So he just said dukkha, and that's been translated as suffering. But a better translation would be a kind of sense of unsatisfactoriness that permeates our experience. He didn't deny pleasure. He didn't deny happiness, but he said that even with pleasurable experiences, they always end at some point. So there's always a kind of leftover, bittersweetness, even to intense pleasure, because there's something in us that doesn't let go easily, that wants more, that gets a little bit uncomfortable, when it ebbs out. So that sense of unsatisfactoriness he called dukkha. But if you take the word apart, the word dukkha, it actually means hard to face. So ka means face, dukkha, duh is like difficult. There's another word, sukha, which means sweet to face, which is the pleasure of life, But the Buddha said there's this quality of dukkha, there's this quality of experience that's hard to face. And our instinctual tendency, this gets to the second noble truth, our instinctual tendency is to turn away from that which is hard to face, And the Buddha said, actually, the reason I'm teaching meditation and so on is because that's training in facing that which is hard to face. And that there's something beneficial, and so this is what I've tried to bring into the practice of psychotherapy. There's something beneficial in allowing ourselves and in training ourselves to be with that which is difficult in ourselves, in our partners, in life, and that when we do that, and I think that's the detachment part that you're keeping in your back pocket, when we do that, when we allow ourselves to be uncomfortable, when we recognize that we're clinging a little bit to the pleasures that can't be sustained, when we face those issues, something settles down in us and we're able to actually deal more effectively with the life that we're living, with the hand that we've been dealt.